kind change in the early hour. I very much appreciate it. I know it's early for me and probably for the rest of you. I can't see you, but I probably know most of you, but if I don't know your names, I apologize. Jay wasn't great with names either. He knew your faces, he knew your love. I only discovered after Jay passed that he had apparently followed every one of his friends on Facebook, and I'm talking 2,500 plus people. I mean, I don't even think he had I don't think he knew what follow meant, actually. I follow no one, frankly. And but apparently, if you follow someone, it means every time they post something, you get a notification. And I know this because I'm still monitoring his email and his Facebook, and hundreds of notifications. I think he complained to me once, why do I get all these things? Well, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. And then it was later on I realized, because I look at a profile of somebody that I maybe thought I should know and trying to figure out who they are, and I'll see, following everybody. So I appreciate that he appreciated you so much that he followed every one of you. I used to, he was obviously very much loved by more people than just me. I used to tease him a lot about his fans. I'd kind of go, I'm kind of sick of all those people gushing over you all the time. I think I was a little bit jealous. I think I know I was. There was a time in certain circles where where Jay was Susan James's husband. But in the music circles, I was definitely Jay Curley's wife, and that was okay. I'm proud to be. Our first entertainment today is going to be people from Austin. There are many, but Jay, for the last year before he passed, or maybe even a little bit more, he would sit in every Tuesday night with a band called Grouchy Like Riley that played at Don's.
Yeah.
And two of those band members, Chip Dolan and Marvin Dykus, are here. They play with Shelley's band, and they are part of the core three members of Grouchy Like Riley. Let's see, Jay sat in with them, yes. They'll be playing one of their own original songs, Matters Most. And since no celebration of Jay would be complete without a saxophone, I'm also pleased that the amazing Max Abrams, who Jay admired tremendously, will play with.
We're ready.
All right. And then I will, I guess. Oh, and you can have my mic.
You're way over there, Chip. Yeah, I know. Turn up.
Is this on? As Susan said, yeah, the last couple of years we've been seeing Jay a lot. We saw Jay a lot, and it was always great. He had such a great attitude about everything, even in his sickness, illness. But our lives, we're blessed to know him. Is this going on? Is that turned on?
Get the volume up inside the guitar. There's the volume knobs inside the guitar. That's my guitar, it's on. A lot of people don't know that. I know. Turn the volume on the guitar up. It's in the sound hole. It's a weird spot.
Give me a mic. I'll do this. Old fashioned. It wasn't on for me.
I'll take it to my chicken. There you go. Always on the mic.
I can wander off into the woods, lean against an old oak tree. Now I know the things that matter most to me. There's a highway sign that calls me home from a road that's been too long, or a late night call that finally comes just to say there's nothing wrong, or the moment that I touch your face, the smile is all I see. Now I know the things that matter most to me. I don't know why. One moment, such a small piece of time, it makes such a memory, the space between my mind. Now I know it took some time to see. Oh yes it did. These are the things that matter most to me. Small piece of time, it makes such a memory, the space within my mind. Now I know it took some time to see. Oh yes it did. These are the things that matter most to me. Yeah, these are the things that matter most to me. We always give Jay the last part. Here we go.
Thanks, you guys. Things are a little. Marvin doesn't travel, or did not travel this time with his guitar because he plays bass in Shelley's band, so he had to borrow. And thank you, Shelley, for for the loan, and so there are a few glitches. You excuse them. No, nice job from you. All right, next I'm going to have my sister say a few words, and then I'll be back with a few little thank yous.
Jay Curley. I'm just talking about him and this cruise. I remember the first time he and Sue came on the Sandy Beaches cruise. He was obsessed. Called me up. We were always talking on the phone, Sue and Jay and I. Peg, you gotta go on this cruise. Greatest thing, you gotta go. Okay, Jay, I'm gonna go. I'll go one of these days, I'll be there. Then the next year, they'd go, Peg, you gotta go on this cruise. And he'd already be talking about the next one. Then he'd go on the next one, and this would go on for a few years. And I swear he was in love with Sandy Beaches cruise, and he was in love with Delbert. He had this bromance going on. Might not have been on Delbert's side. I think it might have been too, but he loved Delbert, and he loved this cruise, and he thought it was the best thing. Finally, he did this Rockin' the Boat movie. And by this point, I had seen most of the movie 100 times. And it was in 5 film festivals, and Sue and I traveled, and Jay, we traveled to all the film festivals. Delbert was at some, and all the cruisers would come to these film festivals. And after the festival, Jay would say, Peg, you have to go on this cruise, you have to go on this cruise. And I'd tell Jay, I would, but I'm working, I'm busy, and our father was older, and I was like, not that I took care of him, but I was his neighbor, and couldn't do it. Then our father passed away, and Jay said, Peg, you have no excuse, I'm not letting you not go. Okay, I will go. And it was 2010, and I booked my room. And then I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I lost my hair, and I gained a lot of weight, and I was looking old and ugly, and I said to Jay, I am not going, I am canceling, I am not going. I can't go like this. And so don't anybody take offense to this, but Jay said, oh God, you're going because mostly everyone on the ship is old, and there is no beauty contest going on. Away with it. So I packed my 8 wigs and I got on the boat in 2011, and I had a great time, and I saw what it was all about, and I have been here ever since. And Sue was joking, we would always go, the two of us would go, oh God, Jay and his fans. And it would really make us crazy, but we loved it. So thank you, Jay Curley, for being in my life and being the love of my sister's life, and just being there. And luckily she had him for second time around, 30 plus years. So.
So I don't forget. Thank you, of course, my sister Peggy, for everything. And I want to thank Kathy Schmidt for getting this ball rolling, for this event, for making it hard for preparing the wonderful slideshow, which we also showed in Austin when we did Jay's celebration there. And for everything else she did for Jay when Jay was in the hospital and in hospice, even for her bossiness. And some of you know what I'm talking about. And in absentia, I want to thank Scott Bork, who also came down with Kathy and the kind of took turns helping me out and helping Jay out, which was such a blessing. And let's see, who else? Everybody else, of course. Thank you also to Star Vista, who were so good to Jay, also to me throughout everything, very understanding. Special thanks to Janine and Callie for everything with Jay, and also for helping us get this space together. To the 2 Mikes, Jason and Robertson, for their encouragement and essentially for giving Jay free reign, and to the guys that are helping out tech-wise, and for Tim, the main tech support guy with Star Vista. Thank you to all the musicians that have volunteered to come here today. Jay would be very, very touched. Thanks for Nancy Coplin, always being ready to jump in whenever we needed any kind of help. But my greatest thanks, of course, is to Delbert and Wendy. For more than I can mention. For Wendy saying yes that very first time and giving Jay permission to shoot video on our very first cruise. Mind you, this is before we all had cell phone cameras, so this was definitely a privilege. And they'd had some bad experiences prior, so it was great that they were willing to take a chance. That one act set in motion an entire new direction for our lives, including, moving to Austin, obviously. Delbert and Wendy have always been so supportive and encouraging. I can never thank them enough. I'm not sure what gave Jay more joy, shooting video of musicians or actually playing with them. But the wonderful thing was he was able to do both, and he had opportunities to do that on this cruise. He always managed to find people to play music with no matter where he went, but on this cruise and in Austin, he had, the wide variety of people that he was able to play with and so forth was such a gift. Again, thank you to all. Next up, we're going to have Teresa James and her band, Belly Watts, Terry Wilson, and there we go. That's it. I said Belly Watts. And Max is also going to sit in with these guys. Jay used to like to play Love Is For All Time with these guys. This was like one of his favorites. I like to think of it as one of our songs. And so that is what they're going to play for us.
Thank you, Susan. Well, we are so honored to be here today to help honor Jay's life. I still remember my favorite memory of him is when I first really met him. We were on the road in Colorado playing at the Little Bear up in Evergreen, and that's where he did my little interview for the Rock and the Boat thing. He was just such a joy to get to know, and it's just so great. And I was so thrilled when he would come and sit in and play saxophone. I know he enjoyed it, and so did we. Love Is For All Time. Were you and I just an overnight sensation, an overdue relation coming home? Maybe someday tell ourselves it's alright. 20/20 hindsight is never wrong. Love is for all time, not just a good time. Let's have a good time that day. Love is for all time, not just a good time. Yeah, we had a good time. The other night, love could make it alright. We spread our wings at midnight and we flew away. It's not time to cry. Let me hold you real tight. If you think it's alright, won't you hear me say, love is for all time, not just a good time. and now it's gone to be. You're now everything is going to be okay to be. Cause we love you. Jay, Susan.
Before we do our next, thank you so much, you guys. They came to one of our film festivals. Next up, I want to have Kathy Schmidt say a few words, and she and Scott and Jay had their own little mini support group, which was also a great gift.
I'm not funny like the sisters. No, Jay and Scott and I really did have a little support group. We had all gone through some health problems, and we had this daily little chat going on where everybody's comparing medical notes when that was at the top of the list, and talking about the cruise, and talking about baseball, and talking about life, and that meant a lot to me. Jay was a sweet man. I met him on the cruise, watched what he did, and then he was always so generous with everybody. If you took a good picture, he was complimenting you on your picture skills. If you did a good show, I heard him, praising so many of the artists. But I learned a lot from this guy. Jay taught me a lot about friendship, about gratitude, about wringing as much fun out of life, no matter what was going on, as you could. About making the best out of your circumstances, even when those circumstances were pretty grim. He bounced back over and over and over and over. He was a strong man. He really had a joy for shining the spotlight on other people. He would get so excited when he filmed a show that was really good, especially when it was some of the younger groups that we might not have known of. Like the California Honey Drops, he thought that was the best thing ever, and he got to go play with them at some of their late night shows, and he had a joy for life. He taught me a lot about how to tell a story through the lens of a camera. And he taught me a lot about simply trying to be a better human being. I was blessed to be able to spend a lot of time during that final 3 weeks. Susan welcomed me into her home, even though I'm bossy. Sometimes you need a plan. But we're still friends after all of that, I think. But during that last 3 weeks, I got to spend a lot of time with Jay from the day the doctor told him it was time to look at hospice until the very end. A lot of time with Susan, with the family, and I feel very blessed that they welcomed me in during that time. But one thing that really stands out is Jay's attitude. During those last 3 weeks, we spent a lot of time where he was in the hospital. He had been in a lot of pain. Once they decided to go on to hospice, we were able to do a lot more to relieve that. And Jay used the word grateful more than I've ever heard any human use that term over those last few weeks. He loved everybody. He talked a lot about how blessed he was in his life, with his friends, with the adventures he had taken. The stuff that happened on the cruise was a huge part of that. And all of the people in this room were a huge part of that. He talked about how he had lived a full and rewarding life, and he felt very lucky. He talked about Susan a lot and their adventures. and about his many friends that he had made all over the world. He was very grateful for hospice. He was grateful that Susan and the family allowed him to make that choice. He was grateful for his medical team for supporting him. He was grateful that he could move from the I have to fight all the time mode to comfort and dignity. And he talked about that a lot too, that he was able to switch to moving out on his own terms with dignity and grace in the way he wanted to. During those last few days, he was at the house, and his bedroom was filled with music. We played a lot of music just on the radio and CDs, but those last few days, he had friends come over. Marcia Ball played music for him in his bedroom. The Grouchy Like Riley guys played music in his bedroom. One of the guys from Austin, Oliver Steck, came over with his accordion. We did the chicken dance in his bedroom. Jay's there in his bed, and at this point he can't talk. His throat's, he's barely got a whisper, but he's doing the chicken dance. Doing the whole thing as much as he can in his bed. But the music made him happy till the very end, and he loved that time. One thing that Susan did is read Jay all of the messages of love and support that he was getting from friends everywhere. So even when he couldn't respond himself, he was listening, and Susan would read those things and he would just smile. Just made him so happy. One message in particular that touched Susan and Jay a lot, I know, came from our friend Delbert. And here's what Delbert said to Jay. I heard this morning that you're going into hospice. I've never known how to express my admiration for your dedication to my dream. Without your enthusiasm all these years to chronicle what we've done together, it would all be just a memory. What you've done for all the people involved is testimony to your love of life. I don't want to say goodbye because you will live in the hearts of all of us forever. Thank you for your magic. Love, Delbert. And that was my friend Jay.
Okay, we're going to have Marcia Ball come up next. I'm going to say a little more about Marcia after Marcia plays. She was definitely one of Jay's favorites, and she did come and play for him when he was on hospice. That was wonderful. Took a look at her keyboard for a few months. Okay, are you ready, Marcia? Okay.
So, as usual, I'm going to do something irreverent. Yeah, I'm going to do a song that doesn't have anything to do with sadness, particularly. It's more about the joy of Jay's life, and I would also like to give a shout out to everybody at Don's Depot that were his friends, and that was his home base after he moved to Austin. And Christine Albert, Chris Gage also came and sang, and Chip and various everybody who played at Don's came and was part of that. So, this is called Honey Pie. Honey pie, I miss your love. You're the one I'm thinking of. Honey pie. Even went so long without you. I never said it was easy. This life we lead, there's miles and miles between us. You're the one I need. Honey pie, I miss your love. You're the one I'm dreaming of. Honey pie. Even though we're far apart, I got you deep inside my heart. Honey pie. Honey pie, I miss your love. You're the one I'm dreaming of. Honey pie. Even though we're far apart, I got you deep inside my heart. Honey pie. Honey pie. Thank you, Jay, for all that great film, all that great YouTube, wonderful stuff that, as Delbert said, would just be a memory. It's all documented.
Before I forget, there is like a guest book that Star Vista very nicely provided for us. Is it By the Bar? By the Bar. We'd love it if you would sign it. It'd be great. Thank you. On your way out or whatever. Many of you probably are aware, but I will say it again. But Marcia is ultimately the reason we're on this cruise. Many years ago, I don't even remember our first cruise. The first year on Holland America is all I remember. We saw Marcia at Jazz Fest in New Orleans. At the time, she mentioned Delbert, who we didn't know anything. I mean, honestly, we lived in Hawaii and we were kind of isolated, and our musical experience was not the same as people who live in places where they have so much access. We were totally wowed by Marcia, so she mentioned this guy Delbert McClinton, and that he was going to be playing the next day in the Blues Tent, and we thought, well, if Marcia likes him, he must be good. So we went, and we were not only just super impressed by Delbert, we loved everything he did. His fans really impressed us. Just kind of their exuberance, their respect, their clear love of the man and the music, that we just said we want to be part of this group. We got back to Hawaii where we were living at the time. We did have a computer, even though all those years ago. Jay kind of looked up some stuff, found out some information, made the phone call, and asked and made our reservations to go on the cruise. And pretty soon, the next thing you know, we went from being fans of all these folks to being friends as well, and that was certainly a gift. Jay had so much love and admiration for musicians, he could barely believe his good luck that this video work brought him, that he was able to have that kind of access and the friendships that came out of it. I think his music video work was so good because he played music himself and he understood it. He knew where to aim the camera for the best effect while simultaneously doing his best to stay out of the audience's line of sight. As a fan, he understood that, and when he was unable to get the shot without kind of getting in your way, he tried to get in and out as soon as possible. He loved being around so many fans that had such a deep musical appreciation. He liked to pick all your brains and talk music with you, and also with the musicians. living our isolated life in Hawaii, we had a lot of musical catching up to do. This cruise introduced us to the best of the best. On our first cruise, we only knew Marcia, Delbert, and Wayne. That was the only musicians we knew on the cruise. And I mean, the people, I mean, Stephen Bruton, I'm so glad we got on while he was still with us. We just couldn't believe all the amazing artists that we had been ignorant of up until this point in time. Next thing we knew, we were making a movie, and the next thing we knew, we were moving to Austin, meeting more musicians and making more friends. Kathy mentioned the Facebook chats. Jay had a lot of Facebook chats. He had his support, what I called his support group chat with Kathy and Scott. They would, then he had other chats going, usually about beer, baseball, music, of course, and several of you, but a particular note, Dennis Lee, I'm sure you're out there somewhere, major chat buddy going on there, another bromance. I hope Delbert's not jealous. Jay really valued those connections more than you can even imagine. And I know you all miss him almost as much as I do. The love that cruisers have shown me through their cards, their texts, their hugs, has meant a great deal to me. I know he won't be forgotten. I'm going to have Red come up and play next, but if anyone would like to say a few words after, let me know. I will make that available to you, and if not, that's also perfectly fine, and we'll go out and have a great day of music here before we finally have to sadly pack up. All right, Red.
Let me speak on this one, but you can't shut me up now. Yeah, I mean, I met Jay right when he came on the boat. We had this photographer, can't remember his name, Bob something or other, but he was very slow and he would get right at the front of the stage.
Yep.
And then you take a picture. And it was, you know, we always knew when, me and Missy knew when he was going to do that. Look, he's shadowing again. But then Jay came on, and it just shot these wonderful videos. You never knew where he was. You know, all the piano bar stuff that I did. I mean, my God, he's got so many videos of that, Special Nights and the piano bar. Started out, it was unannounced. You know, it was just like, oh, how'd that happen? Well, Roland Hollow said, I wish I could find a piano bar that I could sing Stardust and Moon River and stuff like that. And then Big Joe came in with brushes and he'd play the bars sometimes, and you know. But Jay shot all those wonderful moments, you know. Sometimes we didn't have microphones, so it was just, you know. And then Jay, he also wanted to play sax, you know, so he was always carrying around the bag of cameras and then had the sax over there. And one night in the Bliss Lounge, when we were on the Norwegian Pearl, which the Bliss Lounge is a much larger, the first piano bar held about 40 people. Unannounced, it'd be 40 people packed, and you had a line to get in. But then it changed over to this Norwegian Pearl, and the venue there was, they had 2 bowling alleys in there, and a long bar, and you could set 200 people in there. But Jay came in one night, and we were in the center of where the disco would have been, you know, flashing lights, we got it set up. But anyway, Jay said, he handed his camera to somebody that was behind him. He said, I want to play on this song. So he took his sax out and came up and played, and he got video. But the sax was really muffled. You know, it was, I don't know what. But after the song, he reached in the bottom of the bell of the saxophone and realized he put the Crown Royal bag in there. I apologize. Now, I don't know why he used a Crown Royal bag. I'm not saying, you know, a lot of musicians do use Crown Royal. But and then he moved to Austin, you know, and it's just, he was like in seventh heaven, you know, right in the middle of musicians and clubs, and people loved him. I did too. I'd go over and visit his house. I wanted to learn how to edit videos, and I couldn't find anybody to teach me. And Jay said, yeah, just come on over. You know, he would, so I'd bring my laptop and said, wait a minute, let me clear off my desk. It's nuts. but he's very missed. But he's always here with us. I keep waiting for him to come from behind the curtain somewhere. Jay, did you get that? I want to do a song for, and then invite some couple of singer friends of ours to come out.
In a small cafe with Jay's sacks on his back, children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the whistle. I see you in every sunny summer day. Everything that's light and gay, I'll always think of you that way. I knew in the morning sun, and when the night is through, I'll be looking at the sun, but I'll be seeing seeing you in all the old familiar places that my lonely heart embraces endlessly.
In that small cafe, the park along the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, wishing I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day. In everything that's light and gay, I'll always think of you that way. I'll see you in the morning sun, and when the night is through, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing
That was perfect. If anyone would like to say a few words, you'll have to holler at me like now. Otherwise, we'll just go. Oh, okay. We got Big Joe in the house.
First of all, how about it for all these musicians? You know, if you had to put Jay in one word, I would just go incredible. This guy was something else, man. He would be everywhere, taking pictures and videos and hanging out and playing his saxophone. But to leave you with something funny from me, oh, I got a good one. Oh, you know me, I got a good one. So like Red said, we would do this late night thing. And it would go to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, me and my brother from another realm, Marlo. Oh, that was funny. Oh boy. But this one time, I don't remember what cruise it was. We're on this cruise, and I hadn't gone up to the late night place where we play until late night. And of course, I've had my share of Crown Royals, so I'm pretty wound up. And when I first walk in, there's all these bowling alleys. I'm like, okay, bowling alleys. What else is there? Oh, but then I get into where we're gonna perform, and there's all these fancy beds. There's beds everywhere. There's a bed over there, there's a bed over there. I said, wait a minute, am I going into a brothel or am I going into a late night music thing? So of course, knowing me, and I'm half drunk, I'm looking at this one bed that I really like. Yeah, I dig it, it looks good, you know. So I look over at Red and I said, making whoopee. So I get in the bed, with the microphone, and I'm laid back and I'm going, another bride, another dream. And of course, you know, when you're singing, you know, Marshall, we close our eyes when we're singing, you know, right, Red? The next thing I know, I have 2 girls beside me in the bed. And so a solo comes and I go, y'all know you're in trouble right now because Jay's videoing us. So anyways, long story short, they're singing and they're rubbing on me and hugging me and all that. Oh boy, is this gonna get posted on YouTube or what? So I get off stage and I go to Jay and I go, this is the best part of all. I go to Jay and I go, you're not gonna post that, are you? He goes, you better believe it. I'm posting that right away tomorrow. That's one of the best videos I got. Anyways, Jay, Tony, we love you. You are the best.
I remember that night. Anyone? A word, Randy? Okay, come.
I certainly don't deserve to follow that, but I'll take my shot. I only know Jay through the cruise. Sorry, and I discovered him from the movie Rockin' the Boat. One of the debuts was in one of the festivals is in Fort Worth, where I live. So I haven't been to Austin to hang out at Don's Depot and learn all this other stuff about that. But I saw that movie and I realized I got to get on this boat somehow. I don't know how I missed it. I used to see Delbert when I was in college in the 70s, but I had kind of lost touch after that. And so I got on the boat, and the first thing I did when I got on there was seek out Jay to let him know that his movie had gotten me on there and talk to him. And I knew he knew what's going on. And we met, and he was amazingly friendly. We discovered that he had a legal background, working doing videos with lawyers. I was a lawyer, so we immediately had another sort of common language to talk to. And from that point on, I felt like I was the best friend with the guy. It was really strange, but he was really that kind of outgoing fellow. And I also learned very quickly that if I wanted to meet people and know what's going on, he's the guy to hang around. And I always like trying to meet somebody who's behind the scenes and kind of know what's working behind the scenes rather than just being an audience out front. And so I glommed onto him rather. I didn't really stalk him, but I just hung around as much as I could. You know, I'd sort of walk by and, oh, he's having breakfast with somebody. Well, I'll just sit down and just talk. And next thing I know, I'd be introduced to this musician, Tom Hambridge, or whoever else he was talking to. And I just learned that if I just sat there and listened to whoever he was talking to, I was going to learn something about all these people that I didn't know anything about. And so I appreciated that. And then I missed the next few cruises. But when I finally got on a few years later, I saw him again, and he immediately recognized who I was. We kind of shared a little political debate or two on Facebook or something sometime before that. Anyways, but he recognized me, and we just picked up from there. And he continued with the same friendship sort of thing. But the point I wanted to make is kind of to pick up on the last story, is a humorous incident that I had with him. This was in a piano bar as well. It was on one night, and it had to be early in the cruise because Red wasn't there that night at the piano bar. And it was a piano bar where it's kind of like the setup upstairs, not in the Ocean Bar the way they do it now. But if you think about where that piano bar is across from the casino, where you've got the two pianos now with the row of seats around it, that sort of bar. And this particular one had a single grand piano in the center, but again with the row of the counters around it, people sitting around that. And whoever was trying to start it up that night, I was there that night. You had the piano in the center. You had about a foot or so between the piano and this counter, and Jay was there with the camera facing the keyboard, and I was just on the outside standing behind Jay, as I always was. If he was watching something or in a spot, you knew that was the place to be. But they were having trouble, and you got to realize where we were. There's a grand piano, and we're on the side where the hinge is, and so it was going to raise up that way, but the piano was closed. But Jay was trying to tell them, they couldn't find a microphone, couldn't get the mic to work. And Jay was trying to yell to them across the piano that there's an iPad inside the phone that controls it. There's an iPad in there. And there was just too much noise, they weren't hearing it. But he's got his camera with him. And it's not just some little portable camera or an iPhone. This is the size of a loaf of bread. It's kind of professional camera. And he sets his camera on the piano and it starts to walk around. And I watched that and I snap on it and realized, oh no, wait a minute. Surely he's not going to. Oh no, and he's walking around the piano, getting closer and closer, no, he's not going to do that. No, he's not going to do it. Oh my God, he is. And he races the piano. I lunge forward, grab the camera, pick it up. Crowd goes, oh. And Jay looks up and says, what? And I tried to tell him after that I thought I deserved co-producer credit for every video. He's a great guy, I loved him.
Sort of, just not thinking first, I have to say, and leaving things on top of things. He's lost more cell phones than most people have owned in their lifetime, and a few of them were from sitting on top of cars or whatnot. I mean, we always got the insurance, we had to. Anyone else would like to say a word? Yes.
Hey guys. Briefly, musicians spend a lot of time alone. We spend a lot of time on stage and with each other, but when we go home, you're in a practice room by yourself, and it's very easy to spiral into a sort of a negative self-talk thing. We talk about this amongst ourselves, but I was in one of those kind of deals where, you're off the road, you're alone after spending a lot of time with your bandmates, and that can be kind of a strange thing. I was having one of those days where just nothing was working, you're in your head, and you start to wonder if maybe this was not the choice you should have made with your life. We all do this, of course. And somehow on YouTube, one of Red's piano bar nights came through. And it was a video that Jay shot of jumping to the woodside. It was one of the last nights. It was super late. And it was kind of funny because it was such a great memory. And it was such a low ebb, and I'd forgotten. And there we were, it was 4 horn players, it was Red, and it was all these wonderful friends and all these beautiful people. And I saw the video, and it just, at that moment, reminded me, this sounds sort of silly, but that I had friends, and that we do make music together, and that, these people are there. Sorry. So, I don't know why it's getting this way, but I just wanted to thank Jay for recording these moments. He did.
Amen.
Because sometimes we need those things to remind us who we are too. That's all. Just wanted to thank him for being there for us.
Yeah, Jay had a great fear of missing out. I mean, he had to be everywhere. I don't think he ever slept on the damn cruise. He would stay up till the wee hours, playing with the honey drops, playing with Red, just watching, videoing, whatever, and then he'd be up and out before I got up in the morning. I used to worry, but he just kept doing it, and he often captured some amazing things. I mean, I know most of you are aware of the Chris Stapleton clip.
Yep.
Before anybody knew who Chris Stapleton was, the Laurie White clip.
Yep.
You know, there's so much. It's all out there. The channel's still going, so it's all on YouTube. All right. Well, if anyone else has anything, and don't forget to sign the book.
So just as she was saying that Jay liked to capture absolutely everything, it's about, I think it was 2020. The last night the Delbert show had closed. A bunch of us up in Toledo eating. A few of the Honey Drop members come by, and they were looking for a place to jam. Well, I told them the only keyboard that was unlocked on the boat that we knew of was on the Ocean Bar, so everybody went to the Ocean Bar. And Butts can attest to this. Me and Jay were the only two cruisers that were not musicians or with musicians up there at that time. And it went on pretty late into the night, and it's probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And Miss Susan comes down in her gown. And she says, in her bathrobe, and she says, "Jay, what are you doing? You gotta pack." Jay looks at me and goes, she leaves and we just stay on. It's classic Jay. We're wanting to capture everything, but I know, like a lot of you, I watched thousands and thousands of hours of cruise from this videos from this cruise, and I can never thank Jay enough for giving us those. So thank you.
Otherwise, good to go, and there's a lot of music out there to be listened to, and we've only got one day left, so go do it.